Talking podcast. I'm Dee Snider.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse.
And get licked by the dog.
To an otherwise discord world. How are you, Andy?
I'm not getting licked right now, but you sure are.
No, she loves me. She's here to make sure that...
she did a lap around the upstairs and came right back.
Well, yeah, she's making sure that, quiet on the set and all
things
that
are
shit.
happening on time and on schedule.
Exactly.
And everyone's got their rider all set.
She's keeping us on track. And now she's going butt to butt.
Yeah.
So she's settled down.
How are you? I don't ever ask you how you are. How are you?
You don't ask me how I am. I think by this point people have caught on to that. But I'm all right.
You put half of that typewriter together.
I don't know if that's half of it.
Neither do I. Don't know thing one about
Legos.
Legos.
It's probably not half of it.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe like a third. Because let me tell you, that book is complicated.
Listen, if I had patience for Legos, I would be right up there with you. But I put different.
I enjoy them very much. I could not tell you why. I honestly don't. They've always been a part of my life, and I've always enjoyed them, but I could not tell you why.
Before I get into what's been a part of my life, we have 3 simple rules here, don't we?
We do, in fact, because we're here to talk. And when we talk, we follow 3 simple rules. No judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick.
Don't be that dick.
Don't be a dick.
Nope. So, we're going to get into something today.
What are we getting into? What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? It's going to be an Andy episode.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about... So, something interesting came up in a conversation with me and a coworker today. He was talking about dial-up internet, and that got me thinking, wow, I remember those days.
What the fuck were you talking about dial-up internet?
I don't know how we got there, but I was like, I was around during the Stone Age days. I was around back in that time.
Yeah, so was I.
And it just got me getting all sorts of nostalgic and thinking. And I remember very early on in this podcast, we did a movies episode.
We did.
And it was so far removed from everything that we've really discussed since then. But I thought, that was a great way to get people an insight into who we are and what we like and where we're coming from. Let's talk about music today.
You want to talk about music?
It's kind of my life.
Well, yes, it is.
Something that we share in common is the fact that we both worked at Hot Topic.
We did both do that, yes. At different times, but we did both do it. Different times, same Hot Topic.
Same Hot Topic, same manager.
Same manager.
Pretty much same staff, too.
I don't think that's right.
I mean, a certain somebody was still living there at the time.
Well, yeah.
You know who you are. And
he's still there.
No, he runs the place. Now you definitely know who we're talking about.
But yeah.
Anyway, to me that was always just the music store, okay? I don't care what anybody says, it's not the devil's store, it's not where everybody goes to conjure spirits or get your fucking witchcraft or whatever.
It wasn't back then either.
It was, to me, the place to get your band patches and your band t-shirts.
Oh, see, now, okay, the band t-shirts, yes, but music,
No, not to buy physical music.
Okay,
you went to the wall or FYE for that.
That's what the wall was for.
We still have CDs with the wall sticker on them.
I used to have, actually, when the wall closed and turned to FYE, and Transworld turned it into FYE, I ended up with a roll of lifetime warranty stickers from the wall.
For you youngins who don't remember the wall.
Which I proceeded to put on every single piece of music
the lifetime guarantee for your compact disc.
Yeah, or cassettes.
Oh, man. That was funny. That actually, the day I got my first car and when I applied for the first job I would end up getting, which was Hot Topic, after I left that interview, I went to FYE to get a stack of cassettes to listen to in my first car, which only had a cassette player.
I actually hit the eject button on my CD player in my current car for what must be the first time. I've had the car for a little over 5 years now. And I did hit the eject button because I did not know if there was, in fact, a CD in it. There is not. Update, there is not.
But Hot Topic is essentially where we met.
It is technically where we met.
Or where I at least saw you in person for the first time.
Yeah.
The famed JJ Star.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You.
I was there. That's when I was working there.
Right.
I could not tell you that I went in that store at all when you were working there.
Well, I was there for 6 months between 05 and 06.
Yeah, I don't think, because I was upstate New York at that point, so we had our own Hot Topic, and it was still unrenovated. It was still the brick face and everything like that. So.
I mean, I remember that place prior to working there as where all the weirdos and goths and alternative kids went for their alt merch.
That's where we went for our pants.
The trip jackets. You know, my older brother, who was in the Vampire Club in high school, that's where they all hung out. And then I think that was long gone by the time I got to school.
I bought a lot of, cat stuff and stuff with flames on it. Mm. Yeah.
I remember going for stickers and patches and shirts that I couldn't get, because there was no other place to buy T-shirts with your band's logos on them. There just wasn't. There was no other store at the time in the mall.
I think that was the only place.
If Saturday Matinee had anything, or FYE, it was a very limited selection.
TSX also had band T-shirts.
I think TSX was gone at this point.
TSX was gone at that point, yeah.
But I remember our mutual acquaintance being like, hey, after you finish bringing me to get my haircut, we got to make a quick stop. And we walk in, and I'm standing behind him, and I'm just trying to get a glimpse at those Zelda hearts on your chest.
Is that why you were standing behind him?
No, I was standing behind him because he was the one who was there to see you.
Yeah. Having
a conversation with you, and I'm just kind of, his chauffeur.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember, just getting a glimpse, and then we walked out of there, and he looks at me and goes, don't you even fucking think about it. Don't you dare.
I was off limits.
Oh, you were totally off limits.
Well.
But,
thank you for jumping the turnstile on that one and coming and getting me.
Anytime, baby. And then, our next endeavor, in-person encounter was also music related because it was at Punk Island 2015.
Well, that was not our next musical encounter.
I mean, where we saw each other face to face, yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah, where we really sort of interacted, I guess. But you guys opened for Misfits the November before that, and I was at that show. I has pictures of you from that show.
You got videos from that show.
I do, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Yeah. But, Punk Island came around, and we're on the pier, and we're all sweating, and you're there selling your merch.
Sunburning.
And it was the brilliant idea of, I think, Rob Krosky, to have me wear some of your merch.
Well, he was already wearing my merch. And
he was?
He was.
Yeah, but nobody was wearing your shorts.
No, not
I took
not
one for
that
the
day,
team.
no.
I took one for the team. Those videos are still up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those photos are...
with my underwear hanging below your shorts.
Perpetually... Well, yeah. Mm. The pictures from that day are just burned into my memory.
Because...
I enjoy those very much.
Unbeknownst to me is that while we were playing, you were sneaking in some shots.
I was sneaking a peek. Yeah. I was, yes. Yeah. It did play a big part. There was always music around. I mean, there should be. There should be. Because... I don't know if you've caught on to this, dear husband, but my love language is mixtapes.
Which you made me one recently.
I made you a
cassette tape, and you got me a radio to go with it.
Well, so you can listen to it. Otherwise, how else would you?
I think that might be my only working cassette player right now.
It might be.
Yeah.
I want to say my stereo is still in the garage.
The cassette player that's attached to the phonograph downstairs, I don't know if it's still functional.
The phonograph?
The phonograph.
What? Okay.
That's what it's called.
The phonograph?
That's what it's called.
It's a record player, sweetheart. No, it's not a phonograph.
Play me off, Johnny.
Yeah, why don't we just pull out the old Victrola, pop a nickel in that Nickelodeon. Good grief.
Oh... Good times.
Yeah, but music is essentially my love language. I play music. I create playlists for moods.
I was telling a coworker as I was leaving work today about how you got us tickets to see Blitzkid and you got us tickets to see the Gaslight Anthem. And both times I went into it blind because I'd never seen them, never listened to anything they'd done.
Yeah.
And was pleasantly surprised at something that you introduced, which I now associate those concerts with those memories.
Which makes me excruciatingly happy because I've tried to introduce you... Excruciatingly happy because I've tried to introduce you to, movies, and for the most part, you just fall asleep.
That's
So,
just...
I'm thrilled that I can introduce you to music that means so much to me and have it end up being something that you really enjoy.
Because I don't think anybody before you has introduced me to any music that has made that much of an impact.
What have other people introduced you to? I'm very curious.
I've been subjected to Florence and the Machines.
Subjected to, not introduced
No, I've been subjected to Florence and the Machines.
Same.
I've been subjected to bro country. I've been subjected
What?
to...
Whoa, pause.
What?
What is bro country?
What's bro? It's all the stuff you hear on the radio nowadays.
Why is it bro country?
That's just what I hear people call it.
Why?
I don't know. Your Chase Rice, your Blake Shelton, your Brad Paisley.
I'm not sure.
Your contemporary country, I would say. Which, listen, most of it is just the same shit over and over and over and over again.
Well, yeah.
Get mud on your boots, mud in your tires, take your girl out for a dance or a swim in the lake or whatever, and it's just like crack open a beer and...
You always gotta crack open a beer.
I will not say I was subjected to Zac Brown.
Yeah, you like Zac Brown.
I actually do like Zac Brown. We used to make fun of him back in the day because of that fried chicken song. I think he's got 2 of them.
You've subjected me to that fried chicken song.
That's fucking so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I still lump him in with the bro country, but it's, he's clever. He's got some clever songs.
Yeah.
But everything else I just can't fucking stand. There was nothing about Florence that spoke to me. There was nothing
Same.
about a lot of other stuff that I've gone to see. But, I mean, so I get the unfortunate assumption made that just because of the way I look, that I'm all of a sudden a metal guy. Between the tattoos, the beard, the hair, the piercing, I give off the vibe of being all about metal. And what people don't seem to understand is I have a very, very wide array of musical tastes.
Yes. It includes metal.
The funny thing is that I haven't even been in that many metal bands in my life. I mean, I've been in about 20 or so bands, 20 or so different groups. Yes. And out of those 20, maybe 25% of them have been strictly metal. I've been in folk groups. I've been in reggae groups. I've been in jazz, classical, punk. Like Are
you including school bands in this?
Nope. I mean, bands that I did when I was in school. Sure. I'm not talking about the school band.
Yeah.
The orchestra or the jazz band or anything like that. Music has been my thing ever since I was 5 years old. Mm-hmm. From the time I started playing piano at 5 to when I took up guitar at 7.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play. I mean, that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
People who come to me for advice or lessons or whatever, they still view it as kind of like a chore to practice. And I'm like, it's never been a chore to me. It's never been hard. I mean, it's been hard work to stick with something you want to learn and enjoy and develop, but it's never been frustrating. Ever. Practicing. Yeah, no. I wanted to be a musician because I wanted to do the things I was seeing the people I listened to do. Mm-hmm. Which is what led me to playing out and traveling and eventually meeting you. Mm. And, like many people, I grew up with all the stuff we hear on the radio now, but then that led me to finding vast arrays of other musical genres that people have probably never even heard of.
There is so little music from the last 20 years that I have heard. Mm. I just don't listen to it. I remember, when I worked at Hot Topic, which was 2013 and 14, I was introduced to a lot of new music from bands that I had enjoyed when I was in my early 20s and stuff like that, and nice to know they're still around. And then also newer stuff from people I'd never heard of, either that they were, brand new, or they were not the band brand new, that the bands were brand new,
right? Yeah.
Or they'd only been around for a little while, and this was their first or second album, and it was awesome, because quite a lot of it I really did enjoy, and I still enjoy. But it's funny because honestly, I don't listen to it anymore. Albums that I was obsessed with in 2013 are still something that I absolutely enjoy the shit out of, but I just don't listen to it. I don't listen to it. Mayday Parade, State Champs, Conditions, and these pop punk groups and emo groups that were so important to me at the time. I still really enjoy the music, but I don't listen to it. Most of the music I listen to on a regular basis now came out in the 80s and maybe the early 90s. I would say anywhere from like 72 to 92.
I'm right there with you because everybody who knows me knows my top 3 favorite bands, not just bands from, Europe or whatever, have always been him, the 69 Eyes, Children of Bodom. All from Finland, all slightly different in their, in their genre. But I've listened to their libraries so much that I am at the point where I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah?
I just can't. I don't know if I'm associating their music with memories or certain times in my life, or I've just really just been burned out, but like I need something different. And I have gravitated towards, I think I said this in an earlier episode, 1940s jazz, classical from, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, that sort of thing. Just a lot of stuff without lyrics because I'm really sort of appreciating the musical aspect of it now, which, I've always kind of felt when people ask me like what I listen to or what I like, I've always felt very hesitant and on answering because I feel like somebody's going to make fun of me or judge me. I just feel like that's it comes with the territory because it's happened before. Yeah. It's always very unfair and very, I don't know. I always feel like that's what's going to follow it up, but sometimes depending on who I'm having the conversation with, I will answer and be specific. But I mean, music has always been my language. It always has. I can't necessarily get up on a microphone and sing and talk to an audience, but I can play my guitar. I can make my guitar talk. I can sit around and talk to people about music, about bands, about instruments all day long. Yeah. Yeah. It's something that I'll never get tired of.
I think I always liked pop and I liked easy stuff, because I think when I was the youngest that I was when I was listening to music, when I was listening to cassettes and everything, a lot of it was mixtapes that either belonged to my parents or that my uncle made for me and everything. And a lot of it was, like early 80s easy listening. A lot of it was doo-wop. A lot of it was like 60s folk music and everything like that. And then it was more like the early rock and roll stuff. Elvis, the Beatles, all the way up to the Eagles. And, I would listen to this stuff, but then I would also listen to New Kids on the Block because my friends were listening to New Kids on the Block. When I turned 10, I think is when I started just listening to whatever my sister and her friends were listening to. Because to me, they were the cool kids, and I wanted to be like one of the cool kids. Now, when I got to be that age, I realized they weren't the cool kids. They were the outcasts. And I realized that I was listening to the music that the outcasts were listening to, and that is what sort of, molded my outlook on it. And I used that as a part of my personality. And I started, being very fringe and alternative, and then it just snowballed. And then I started listening to all of the heavy goth stuff, like the industrial metal and everything like that, but there was a lot of it that I truly could not, like, I wanted to be into it because the other fringe kids in my class were into it, but I couldn't stand it.
See, I was getting hit from all sides from every member of my family and all of my friends and everything that I had access to with MTV and VH1 and Kazaa and Napster and LimeWire and all that stuff because it was so vastly different from person to person. Like the classical jazz and all that stuff came from Dad. I was getting James Taylor and the Beatles and Michael Jackson from my mom and stuff like that. I was getting all the rock and metal from the 70s and 80s from Mike, like Metallica and AC/DC, mainly because I was stealing his CDs. I remember I would get the weird stuff from John. Like he would come at me with the presidents of the United States of America. Yeah. And from Mark, I was getting, everything.
Show tunes.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. But also getting like Mark Cohn and like obscure stuff like that, like Walking in Memphis.
Okay.
Which was fun. Like Mark did a lot of show plays in high school, so like I was into all the stuff from the shows that he was doing. And then my friends at the time were listening to like Limp Bizkit and Eminem and Kid Rock and all that stuff.
Yeah, weren't we all? And that was just it. Is that I think about specifically Limp Bizkit because I love, at the time, it was 1997, 98. I loved Korn. I got into Korn and Marilyn Manson when I was in middle school, and then Limp Bizkit came out, so it just was
I got
like,
so much shit for that.
It was like, hey, of course you're supposed to listen to Limp Bizkit, and I was just like, I can't stand this. I hated it so much. So much. I hated it.
I can still remember.
Same thing with Linkin Park. Couldn't fucking
one
stand
Christmas
it.
I asked Mike for Mike always used to get me CDs for the holidays. He one time got me, I think, Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit, the greatest hits of Death Row Records.
That's a weird one to throw in there.
That's what I asked for.
Sure.
And then there was one year where I asked him for like the best of Typo Negative, and then there was one year I asked Mark for the best of Lou Rawls. Yeah.
Okay.
Groovy people. So that's when I really learned the meaning of eclecticism.
Yeah.
And oh man. But then I discovered Bam Margera and never looked back and I don't care what anybody says, however much shit they give him for doing but the thing that he's done has introduced a lot of bands and a lot of music that wouldn't otherwise have been found to the audience that appreciated them.
Yeah.
So all the European bands that he promoted throughout his rise to fame allowed them to flourish. Mm-hmm. And every like lesser known band that you didn't see on his TV shows or the Jackass movies and things like that, I did the deepest of dives into those and every side project and everything about that. And there was, they weren't doing anything new.
Yeah.
But something about what they were doing was intriguing.
Well, when I was at probably, I'm going to call it my most impressionable, between the ages of 13 and 16 is when I really started using music to explain my emotions. Yeah, and you're nodding because I have a feeling that you sort of
do the same.
You sort of did the same
because you can use the lyrics in a song to speak for you.
Yeah.
To another person.
And I mean, whether I was feeling happy or angry or heartbroken or whatever it was, there were certain songs and certain albums that I would sit in the dark and play on repeat until the emotions just came out of me.
We still do that.
We do still do that.
We literally were just sending each other songs through text the other day. Just be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah. And I went through a long period of time where all of the songs were Stabbing Westward songs. And I mean, a lot of it was very dark, but that's how I felt. Whether I was in love or whether I was furious. There was something for everything. And then, so like years later when I found him, it was that dark loveliness. And that's why I liked it from the get-go. You afforded me the opportunity to like it even more because I never really did a deep dive on it. I was sort of past my deep dive days. So I was just, whatever was introduced to me, that's what I listened to. But it has that dark loveliness to it. That sort of like, like when we used to talk about the aesthetics of Dracula and Gary Oldman's Dracula specifically and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of where I think I peaked, I'm going to say, with my emotional aesthetic, if that makes any sense.
Listen, I saw that movie at such an inappropriate age, but it made enough of an impression at 5-6 years old to the point where I've got the movie poster tattooed on my forehead, on my hand.
But it's that sort of like, that it hits so emotionally.
Well, because we're fat romantics at heart.
Yeah,
you know?
anybody, absolutely.
People can, joke or criticize all they want, but it's like, I am a sucker for love songs. I'm a sucker for goth love songs.
Same.
Being a fan of him is what led me to all the stuff that influenced them, like the Sisters of Mercy and the Cult and fucking the one Matt Sorum. No, Matt Sorum was in the Cult. There was another one I can't think of right now. Oh, The Mission. And, bands of that ilk. Mm-hmm. And every band that copied them afterward, you know? Because, Villavallo is just a great songwriter. He's really good at what he does, people made fun of me for years for being a fan of that band. And I remember when their guitar player did his first side project, and Justin and I had gone to see it together because he was doing like a pseudo black metal thing. Yeah. And even he was impressed by what he had done that night. I'm amazed I got him to go with me, but he was my ride. Yeah. And I met up with the band afterwards, and I'm standing there and I'm shaking his hand. I'm like, this is my favorite guitar player ever, And one of the other bands walked by, and I'll never forget this. And he goes, "Ha, faggot bought a hoodie. Ha, 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 ha." And so we just flipped them off as they walked by. And fucking, I don't remember what Daniel Lyon I had said, but it was so, I just thought it was, the coolest shit ever. Yeah. To meet
One of my favorite bassists is actually Chris Aiken from Strung Out. Mm. And I find him very impressive. And, a lot of people don't, unless you are a percussionist, you don't really pay attention to the bass.
You pay attention when I play the bass.
Well, yeah. But I'm a sucker for
the low end.
Yes, I am.
That's right.
But I remember I was because I had tickets to see them in Boston, and in 2015 or 16, one or the other. And got a hotel room, drove 3 hours up there, pull into the parking lot of the hotel to get a notification from Ticketmaster saying that the show was canceled. Mm. So I was like, well, what do we do? Do we just stay here? And we were just like, nope. And, went into the hotel and was just like, so hey, the reason why we were going to stay here got canceled. Can we get the money back on the room? And they were like, it's off season. They're just like, yeah, fine, whatever. Turned around, drove 3 hours back home, and I just sobbed because I'd never had the opportunity to see them since 98. Never had the opportunity to fucking see them. And it blew it for me. The next summer, they're on one of the last Warped Tours, and I was like, I'm going.
I never got to go to Warped Tour.
Not a one?
Not a one.
Not a one.
I probably had the opportunity, I just never took it, because I'm like, I don't know if there's enough bands on one of these things for me to make,
Well, there's more to it than that, though.
I didn't really want to go to Rock on the Range, because I'm like, do I really want to drive all the way to Columbus?
I didn't want to go on to Rock on the Range either, but my paycheck depended on it.
Well, something a lot of people don't know about you is that you used to do merch for a lot of famous bands.
Well, I want to finish my story because I wasn't done yet. So you talked about, meeting Daniel Lyon and I want to talk about meeting Chris Aiken because he was my favorite bassist. And you know me, I don't get starstruck. I really don't. I don't know very many people that I could encounter in the wild who would actually starstrike me. And I was so excited that Strung Out was going to be on Warped Tour and I was going to be there and everything. And I had all access. So, I'm going to find these people one way or the other. And it was hot like it usually was. And I was disgusting. And I was just sitting on the pavement and dude just walks by and I just go, hey. And he just comes over and sits next to me and I'm talking to him about what I do and what he does and everything. And I am to this day amazed that I didn't get starstruck by that. But I look back on that and I have that record that I painted that all of them autographed that I tried to raffle off and then the winner never claimed it. So now it belongs to me. And I look at that and I remember that day and I'm just like, that was an experience that I will always treasure because I was convinced that if I had the opportunity, I was going to get all mousy and shy and everything. And I didn't. I nutted up
and hide in their tour bus and go off with them. Like I almost did with the 69.
No, I wouldn't do that. But that was a memory. That was a memory that I'm always going to hold on to. And I mean, hopefully I do get to see them again someday. But that was a lot of fun. But yes, you said people don't know that I did merch. I did for a long time, actually.
I remember being like nervous when we got together. I'm like, oh God, she's gonna have to go away for long periods of time.
No, you got me post-COVID, so yeah. you won. You won that lottery. And because I mean, when in 2021, when festivals started coming back, like they started trickling back in, I was being offered jobs, and I was turning them down left and right because I have an immune system made out of wet toilet paper, and I'm just like, these people couldn't tell me that there were protocols in place and safety protocols, and there was no hazard pay. There were no allowances for that, and because of the situations and because everything had gotten more expensive because of whatever the fuck, they were like prorating hotel rooms and room and board and everything, and I'm like, I'm basically going to end up paying people to work for them.
It's actually...
So I turned down all of these jobs until they stopped being offered to me, and I realized that I had been quiet fired without realizing it. And people still ask me, they said, do you miss it? And I say, abso-fucking-lutely not. I don't miss it at all.
It's because of you now that I tip merch people.
Tip your merch people.
Because I never thought about that. I didn't know what they were getting paid. I didn't know how they were getting paid. I didn't know how much work goes into setting up merch at a festival or a concert or whatever until I met somebody who actually did it.
A lot of people look at that side of things and they think that, like, I mean, I've worked for local bands. I've done weekends, weeks, 2-week long, East Coast tours with local outfits who think that, well, you put up a piece of grid wall, you slap some t-shirts on it, you throw some stickers on a table, and boom, merch. And it's just like, it's not how it works. It's like, that's not actually how it works. There is a lot that goes into it. And
let's get on a soapbox for a minute here. Because since we're talking about, I mean, music it's not it's our thing.
Yes.
Okay. And I have been in bands for, at least 20 years now. Mm-hmm. I try all the time to get my friends to come out to every show that I play, every coworker to come out to every show I play. I'm not really so much trying to get them to buy something, like a ticket, a t-shirt, or whatever. But it just seems like live music is not as important to people as it once was.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we did before the advent of technology.
When I was in high school, we used to, buy like the $15 tickets to whoever was playing at the Chance on a Friday night, and we'd go up, we'd get some, we'd get a burger, and we would sit in the balcony, and we would drink,
and you watch the show,
our overpriced bottles of water, and we'd watch the show. And I would say probably a third of the time, we had no idea who these bands were.
And you talked to your friends about the show, and about the night, and about the experience. Mm-hmm. You didn't watch the show through a screen.
No, we didn't have screens. Our parents would never have found our bodies if we never came home.
I remember when I first started taking digital cameras, not even digital cameras, but like, throwaway cameras to concerts. I'd take like a couple of what I thought were good shots, and then the camera goes away so I could watch the show.
I lost my digital camera, my brand new digital camera, I lost in the alley outside the Chance Theater one day, actually. And after that, I replaced it with the same digital camera, and I broke up a pair of handcuffs and attached a handcuff to the fucker so that I would never lose it again. So if you ever in this house find a digital camera with a handcuff attached to it, now you understand why. Just saying.
Oh, man.
But that's what we did. And that's, I have notebooks full of ticket stubs and flyers and just, and t-shirts from festivals. I mean, you're lying right now on my blanket, which is full of band t-shirts.
It's made of
band t-shirts.
I can still remember the days when we used to have to
Your band's t-shirt is in this blanket.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When we used to have to go to the high school administration to get approval before putting up local flyers.
Yeah.
Before putting up teen center flyers. Nick, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When we used to have to go to the principal or the assistant principal or whoever and be like, hey, there's a show going on at the teen center this Friday, like there always was back then. Can we put this flyer up all over the high school?
Yeah.
And, what a time it was.
It's still a time.
Yeah.
I put your band's flyers in the break room at work.
I put my band's flyers in the break room at work.
Now if only people would show up.
That'd be nice.
Now if only people would come hang out for a good time.
Because everybody's got an excuse. I'm tired. I got work the next day. I got the kids.
I'm
I got
old,
this. I got,
I'm weak. Oh,
it's like, no,
I'm sad.
come
no,
out,
fuck you.
have
come
a drink,
out.
hang out, play some pool, do whatever. But if it's not one of those excuses, it's I'm not into your music. I'm like, well, why don't you give it a chance? Or if you don't like what we're doing, suggest something. I love playing covers. I don't care. Like,
I give you covers to play.
there are still 1,000,001 covers that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I just don't care. That's why I don't understand when these venues don't have this ASCAP shit, whatever that is. Like, if you don't pay into that, then you're going to get sued if somebody plays a cover there. Like, that's so fucking stupid. It's not like we're making $1 million doing a cover at your, local bar.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, And I've been to venues where they have that rule. Like, you can't play covers, and then people do them anyway, and then nothing happens.
Well, yeah, because the idea that many eyes are on you, that something's going to happen is
But
kind of out the window.
if you don't play popular music to an audience who has no idea who you are, they're not going to remember you. You got to have at least one good cover in there.
It's the hook that brings you back.
It's funny that you mentioned Blues Traveler because my friends and I in first grade, we're 6, 7 years old, we used to sing at the top of our lungs, run around.
Of course you did.
To and from school.
Yeah.
Until we got to 7th grade and then we started singing Linkin Park. Yeah, I know. It was a time.
Two Skinny Jays has a song called Friends Don't Let Friends Listen to Rap Metal.
Yeah.
And I put that on a CD for every single one of my Linkin Park fan friends.
Listen, I saw Linkin Park as part of a festival. They were the headliners. And my 13-year-old self would have appreciated it way more than my 19-year-old self did.
I don't believe... I could be wrong, but I don't believe I've ever actually seen Linkin Park.
Well, you're never going to see them now.
That's fine.
Well, no, because I think they're still going, but...
It's fine.
That was kind of a low blow.
That's fine. I don't have to see them or what's left of them. I did see Metallica, though. I will thank Rock on the Range for that one.
Oh, man. I will thank Rock on the Range for Steel Panther and Danzig and Puddle of Mud. Again, my 13-year-old self would have appreciated more than my 23-year-old self.
I mean, working festival merch has afforded me the opportunity to see a lot of bands that I've always enjoyed, like Metallica, like I got to see Lily Allen, I got to see Rob Zombie a bunch of times. It's like I really am glad that I was able to do that. And my first really cool experience with live music was festivals. It was Radio 104 Fest in Hartford.
I never got to go.
We went every year for, I think, 5 or 6 years. And it was the best. It was the absolute best. And it opened my eyes to bands that I'd never heard before and bands that got big years later that it's like, holy shit, I saw them on, a stage the size of this bed. Like, we saw Flogging Molly at the Altamont Fairgrounds in, like, 2001,
I still
maybe?
want to see them.
And somehow they fit everyone on a stage the size of a king-size bed.
I still think it's
Wild.
really funny that, like, a couple of months before I opened for the Misfits for the first time, I saw Jerry Only at a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And he remembered us.
That's awesome.
So, like, I'm in line waiting to go in, and I see a guy out in the distance who looks like one of the Road Warriors, because he's got his getup on and everything. But it's him, and he gets in line right behind me, and I'm like, do I say something? Do I not say something? And I introduce myself. I'm in Two Fisted Law. We're opening for you guys in November. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember those guys. Oh, you're playing with them? It's like, and, we get to November, and we get to the venue. We get to the Chance early, and he's out there, and he's just chatting with us.
Yeah.
And we went to dinner afterwards, and just the nicest fucking guy. Like, I don't think I would have gotten to open for the Misfits if I hadn't played with those guys. Yeah. And looking back now, I've opened for them. I've opened for a lot of other, like... I mean, I wouldn't say well-known groups, like, within the circles, and still kind of a surreal thought. You know, like I've opened for Suffocation twice.
Yeah.
I've opened for Agent Orange and the Queers and a bunch of other people I probably can't remember right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, from like 2013, 14 onward is, I think, really where like my musical journey really took off.
See, and
it's still going.
And these experiences and the emotions that we feel remembering and having those memories and everything that goes into why I personally, like speak through playlists and mixtapes and stuff like that, because when I tell you, a song makes me think of you, it's, sometimes it's, the feel of the music, sometimes it's the lyrics themselves and everything, but a lot of the time it's just, the way the song makes me feel, and that feeling is what I attach to you. You
said to me on the way to see the Gaslight Anthem, you go, this is music that makes me want to make out.
Yeah.
And every time one of their songs comes up on my shuffle, it makes me want to make out with you.
Yeah. It's the type of music that makes you want to drive to an isolated, parking lot somewhere and sit in the dark and just sort of kiss for a long time.
Thanks, Brian. This was a fun talk.
This was a fun talk. It's hard to stop. Like this is the kind of.
You want to make out?
Yeah. Well, we're going to the drive-in tonight.
Ooh. Date night tonight.
The drive-in. But yeah, like we could keep going. We could go on forever. We could go on forever about this. This was a fun one. Yeah. I'm all smiles now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
oh, guys, what do you think? Maybe I don't know about you, but like people have been commenting, chiming in.
No, do that.
Yeah.
Yes, all you out there.
Tell us some of your stories. Tell us your music story. How music what music has meant to you. If you've had any sort of experiences like this that you want to talk about, that you want to share, we really got to get people on at some point. Why not? We
can do that.
We got to encourage civil discourse.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Find people you discord with.
Yeah.
It should not be difficult. Thank you to everyone listening to that talking podcast. Please, dear God, find us on social media.
Find us out in the wild.
DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's. Come on. We're on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and we want to hear from you.
They're waiting for those back scratchers.
Shut up. We're waiting to hear from people. We want to hear what you think, what you want to talk about, what you want to hear us talk about, and we want to hear from all of you, because we know you're out there, and from our stats page we know where you are. Haha.
We're the radio beacon and homing out to everyone who's still around after the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Is there any intelligent sign of life out there?
But yes, we are on social media. Please find us. Thank you, Andy, for the theme song.
Thanks for everything that you do with this podcast. You put way more effort into it than I do.
All I do is talk.
That's what you're good at.
Well, that's the important.
That's the idea.
That's the important part.
From all of us.
From the 3 of us.
Yeah.
At the Talking Podcast.
Oh my gosh, she's out cold.
She is.
Yeah.
It's that kind of day. Well, it's Saturday.
Yeah. It's Saturday. That's another one that brought us together, Marcy Playground.
Yeah.
I smell sex and candy.
All right, before we go over fair use, from the 3 of us at the Talking Podcast, I am JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.